What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything going on here in our country and in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember, the new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. I will keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country. Also, don't forget to hit the like button if you find these videos helpful. First up, President Biden made several announcements here today on the economy and the stimulus package, several different things going on here. Here are a couple highlights of what President Biden said here earlier.
But we still face challenges in our economy. Disruptions related to the pandemic have caused challenges in our supply chain, which have sparked concern about shortages and contributed to higher prices. Moms and dads are worried, asking, will there be enough food we can afford to buy for the holidays? Will we be able to get Christmas presents to the kids on time? And if so, will they cost me an arm and a leg? I told you before that we're going to take action on these problems. That's exactly what we're doing. It starts with my port action plan, a proactive 3-month effort to invest in our ports and relieve bottlenecks. 40% of the goods, for example, that come into this country on the West Coast come through 2 ports, Los Angeles and Long Beach. To help ease the congestion at these ports, I brought together labor and management and asked them to step up and cooperate. To move from operating the ports at 40 hours a week at those ports to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I provided the resources to other key ports, including Savannah, Georgia, and on the East Coast, and to help reduce congestion and undo damage caused by COVID. We also met with the CEOs of Walmart, Target, Home Depot, TJ Maxx, and others. Those retailers, large retailers, and others agreed to move products more quickly, stock their shelves more quickly. And by the way, you may have heard the CEO of Walmart yesterday on the steps we've taken. He said, and I quote, "The combination of private enterprise and government working together has been really successful." He went on to say, all the way through the supply chain, there's a lot of innovation. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, the number of containers sitting on docks blocking movement are down by 33%. Shipping prices are down 25%. More goods are moving more quickly and more cheaply out of our ports, onto your doorsteps and onto store shelves. And so all these concerns a few weeks ago, there'd not be ample food available for Thanksgiving. So many people talked about that, understandably. But families can rest easy. Grocery stores are well stocked with turkey and everything else you need for Thanksgiving. And the major retailers I mentioned have confirmed that their shelves will be well stocked in stores this holiday season. And that's good news for those moms and dads who are worried about whether the Christmas gifts will be available. It goes for everything from bicycles to ice skates.
Yeah, so the ports and opening them up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including installing lighting at the Port of Los Angeles to have them open 24 hours a day, and infrastructure there as well to have them open 24 hours a day, is trying to speed up the supply chain crisis here in the United States, as well as putting fines, as you can see here, delay fines for lingering cargo containers to help them prevent having cargo containers sit there for days or weeks at a time, to prevent that from happening, as sometimes cargo containers will sit there and they'll use it as storage, and they're trying to prevent that from happening as well. So there are several different fronts that they're trying to do to prevent the storage and as well as the supply chain crisis here for the United States. Also, next, you'll see here.
You know, today, though, I want to address another challenge that families are facing, and the one I think they're most focused on right now: high gas prices. This is a problem, not just here in the United States, but around the world. The price of gasoline has reached record levels recently in Europe and in Asia. In France, at the end of last month, it reached about $7 per gallon. In Japan, it's about $5.50 per gallon, the highest it's been in years. Of course, it's always painful when gas prices spike. Today, the price of gas in America on average is $3.40 a gallon. In California, it's much higher. The impact is real, but the fact is we faced even worse spikes before. Just in the last decade, we saw it in 2012 when the price of gasoline hit $3.90. We saw it in 2014 when it hit $3.69. And as recently as 2019, we saw it surpass $3 in many places. The fact is, we always get through those spikes, but we're going to get through this one as well, and hopefully faster. But it doesn't mean we should just stand by idly and wait for prices to drop on their own. Instead, we're taking action. The big part of the reason Americans are facing high gas prices is because oil-producing countries and large companies have not ramped up the supply of oil quickly enough to meet the demand. And the smaller supply means higher prices globally for oil. To address these issues, I got on the phone with leaders from other countries grappling with this challenge to try to find ways to lower oil prices and ultimately to the price you pay at the pump. So today I'm announcing that the largest ever release from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help provide the supply we need as we recover from this pandemic. In addition, I brought together other nations to contribute to the solution. India, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and the United Kingdom have agreed to release additional oil from their reserves, and China may do more as well. This coordinated action will help us deal with the lack of supply, which in turn helps ease prices. The bottom line, today we're launching a major effort to moderate the price of oil, an effort that will span the globe in its reach and ultimately reach your corner gas station, God willing. I've worked hard these past few weeks on calls and meetings with foreign leaders, policymakers to put together the building blocks for today's global announcement. And while our combined actions will not solve the problem of high gas prices overnight, it will make a difference. It will take time, but before long, you should see the price of gas drop where you fill up your tank. And in the longer term, we will reduce our reliance on oil as we shift to clean energy. But right now, I will do what needs to be done to reduce the price you pay at the pump. From the middle class and working families that are spending much too much, and it's a strain, and you're the reason I was sent here to look out for you. There's another issue that we'll be addressing as well, because the fact is the price of oil was already dropping prior to this announcement, and many suggest in anticipation of the announcement. The price of gasoline in the wholesale market has fallen by about 10% over the last few weeks, but the price of the pump hasn't budged a penny. In other words, gas supply companies are paying less and making a lot more. And they do not seem to be passing that on to the consumers at the pump. In fact, if the gap between wholesale and retail gas prices was in line with past averages, Americans would be paying at least 25 cents less per gallon right now, as I speak. Instead, companies are pocketing the difference as profit. That's unacceptable. And that's why I've asked the Federal Trade Commission to consider whether potentially illegal and anti-competitive behavior in the oil and gas industry is causing higher prices for consumers, so we can assure the American people are paying a fair price for their gasoline. I also want to briefly address one myth about inflated gas prices. They're not due to environmental measures. My effort to combat climate change is not raising the price of gas or increasing its availability. What it's doing, it's increasing the availability of jobs. Jobs building electric cars like the one I drove at the GM factory in Detroit last week. For the hundreds of thousands of folks who bought one of those electric cars, they're going to save $800 to $1,000 in fuel costs this year. And we're going to put those savings within reach of more Americans and create jobs installing solar panels, batteries, electric heat pumps, jobs making those clean power generating devices.
Yeah, so as you can see here, there's really a lot of different things here going on in our country here. We got the price of gas, combating that. You've seen here, he mentioned in multiple different countries across the world, the price of gas is actually even higher, even twice as high as $7 a gallon. Can you imagine paying $7 a gallon? Wow. Can you imagine if that was here in the United States? Wow. That's why, if you've ever been over to Europe, they have a lot more smaller cars here, where we have a lot more SUVs and large pick trucks here in the United States. If you've ever been over to Europe, they really don't have a lot of large SUVs and trucks over there in Europe at all, compared to here in the United States. They have a lot of small, compact. You ever seen like movies like Euro Trip or anything like that? They really, and motorbikes and you ever drive in Europe, they have all these little like bikes that kind of like weave in and out of traffic. That's very common over there because largely because of the price of gas. $7 a gallon is no joke. They have a lot of literally a lot of small compact cars, a lot of motorbikes, and it's just very very common over there. People park everywhere, all across the, just everywhere, just parking, just yeah, just people just fit cars in everywhere, just parking all different ways across the street. Anywhere that a car can park, they park. They don't just park in spots. They just anywhere that they could fit. It's just this different world over there. If you've been to Europe, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And the way that they kind of weave in. If you come to a stoplight and you just have all these bikes just kind of just all coming up to to the stoplight, even though you're stopped in a car. All these bikes. I mean, like motorbikes and stuff, but bicycles too. But all these kind of like mopeds and bicycles and motorcycles, all just kind of come to to the front of the line. They go. They all come to the front of the line, and it's kind of scary. You could put your arm out, and just kind of grab them. They're all just kind of there. Very dangerous, to be honest. I'm not a motorcycle rider, but I'd be very scared to do it myself because it's just yeah, it's just a different world over there. But $7 a gallon. You know, you thought gas prices was high here. It's no joke over there. Even in Canada, I believe they, from the times I've been over to Canada, they pay per liter, and much more expensive over there as well. From last time I remembered, just yeah, just no joke here. Speaking of, this is actually in the news as of yesterday here in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis is rolling out a plan to, quote, zero out gas taxes, potentially here in Florida, to lower the prices at the pump in Florida. Yeah, this could be something that could be coming here in Florida and also maybe in other states as well. He says that gas stations may or will cut prices also as well. Governor Ron DeSantis says he intends to propose over $1 billion in gas tax relief to Florida families as a hedge against inflation. Florida would, quote, basically zero out the 26.5% or 26.5 cent, not percent, but 26.5 cent per gallon state tax, quote, for as long as we can. So the Florida governor wants to get rid of a 26.5 cent tax, which would lower the cost of gas in Florida. Governor notes that Florida has always, quote, been very strong on tax relief, citing back to school and sportsman tax holidays. But he suggested that this was even more important. He says, quote, this is really big to be able to help people. He said the House and Senate are ready to move on this as well. The state House and Senate, that is, in Florida. Quote, I know they want to work with us on gas tax relief. Quote, this is a very busy season and are vowing to roll back 25 cents a gallon if the tax relief becomes law. Yeah, so we hope to see this as well in more and more states as well. Also, let me know your thoughts on the president, if you think this is going to lower the cost of gas across the country, as this is just one of the things that we are grappling with to lower the cost of this as well. Here is Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on lowering the cost of goods and services as well as the stimulus package.
I'll ask you an economic outlook question then. If the Fed does get a little more, if the Fed acts quicker to taper, pare back its stimulus and acts quicker to raise interest rates, does that risk a recession or choking off the growth?
Well, I see the U.S. economy being on a strong growth spurt at the moment. Unemployment has been falling fast. We have seen over 500,000 jobs a month since President Biden was elected. And I think that's going to continue into next year, driving down unemployment. So, there's strong support for economic growth that's coming from policy and from the buffer stock of savings households have built up. So it's up to the Fed to decide just how much monetary policy support is necessary given those other factors.
The dollar right now, Secretary Yellen, is trading at the highest level since July 2020. Does that comfort you a little in terms of taming inflation, or do you worry about the impact that's going to have on growth, like exports and corporate profits?
Well, as I said, I think growth is poised to be very strong over the coming year and unemployment to decline. But I think what we do see in the marketplace with a strong dollar and generally low longer-term interest rates is confidence that inflation is not something that is going to become long-lasting or endemic in the U.S. economy, and that's important.
You talked a bit about climate change, and it is something that President Biden mentioned in his pick. And you mentioned that the Fed is going to pay a little closer attention to it, though it could be a little bit controversial if the Fed gets into this. Politicization of the Fed, confusion of the mandate. What should the Federal Reserve's role be in fighting climate change?
Well, as chair of FSOC, I called together all of the regulators, the banking and other financial regulators, to discuss the importance of taking climate change into account in supervision and regulation of financial institutions. Climate change poses a major risk to financial institutions and to the financial stability of our economy. And in the safety and soundness supervision that it does, just as the Fed analyzes through its regular stress tests to make sure that banks have enough capital and adequate risk management to deal with threats coming from financial market risks, climate change needs to be added to that mix. And that's exactly what the Fed is doing, is gearing up to do that kind of analysis so that it can make sure that banks understand those risks and manage them properly and effectively.
Meanwhile, on the stimulus package that now is in the Senate being worked on, there are several different things that they're going to be reducing the cost of for American families. Number one, for seniors on Medicare, in would be included would be hearing and hearing aid coverage. Senator Bernie Sanders is also looking to have potentially vision coverage added, as well as potentially dental coverage. Dental coverage would be the hardest one to add. It's the most expensive one to add. Also, these could be added in the next stimulus package as well. Anything could be added in the next stimulus package as well. President Biden has confirmed there will be another stimulus package after this. They're also looking to reduce the cost of childcare, which the average cost of childcare for families is $10,000 or more. For families. In some states, it's up to $20,000 or more. Low income families, depending on your income brackets, could get this for free. And no families would pay more than 7% of their income. So it would be a significant cost savings for this stimulus package. Also, in this package would be to include preschool for 3 and 4-year-olds. We are one of the only first world countries that does currently not include paid for preschool by the government. And if you have to pay for preschool, you'll know that that as well costs thousands of dollars per year per child as well. Again, a significant cost reducing measure, as well as reducing the cost of prescription drug pricing. They want to look, just as an example, we've had a lot of news as well just recently. They want to lower the cost of just one example of insulin, a life saving drug, if you have to have that. We've had Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer say to lower the cost of insulin, they want to go from $600 down to $35. That is a little bit at risk here because the Senate parliamentarian may rule that out potentially because it might not affect the budgetary reconciliation rules, but they could overrule her and still include that in the stimulus package. Remember, as it goes to the Senate here, it has to abide by the reconciliation rules and then also get all 50 Democratic senators because remember, we're not expected to get a single Republican to vote for any of these items. Yeah. There's also going to be monthly stimulus checks called the child tax credits expected to be in there for one more year. $250 per month for children under the age of 6 and $300 per month for children over the age of 6 for one more year. We also have multiple different advocacy groups pushing to have a fourth stimulus check added in there for adults. We have a petition with almost 3 million signatures on there as well. And anything can be added in here up until the very last moment. We have multiple different things here that could be added as well as it goes to the Senate. This bill is expected to be changed. Possibly in multiple different ways. So I will keep you up to date here as we go down here to the final changes expected to be in the Senate. Anything could happen here at the last moment. So let me know your thoughts. I will keep you up to date here as the Senate goes through these final changes and what Senator Joe Manchin versus Senator Bernie Sanders are going to have, what the Senate parliamentarian is going to say, what can and cannot be included in the bill. And remember, feel free to email, tweet, and call your senators and let them know what you think should be in this bill. I will keep you up to date with what's going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. So make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And this video is how there is utility assistance out here, and you can get anywhere from $500 to $1,500 as well. Utility assistance available in most states. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.